If you find yourself reading these words at this precise moment, know that it is not a random event dictated by a distracted algorithm, but an act of deep vibrational recognition. In the purest Hermetic traditions, the arrival at a certain knowledge does not happen by chance, but only when the receiver is tuned to the exact frequency of the message. In this monumental treatise, we will unveil a system of consciousness documented in Egyptian papyri dating back over 2,000 years, which maps with surgical precision the 9 levels of frequency of the Nous, the universal mind. You will discover why the vast majority of humanity remains tragically imprisoned in frequency 3, limited to a dense and powerless reality, while you could be on the threshold of accessing frequency 9, the one the ancients called emerald consciousness. There exists an Egyptian text of inestimable value, the Demotic papyrus known as the Book of Thoth, originally written in an ancient Egyptian script and today jealously guarded in the world's greatest museums, such as the British Museum and the Louvre. We are not talking about modern interpretations or New Age channelings, but physical documents translated by eminent Egyptologists like Richard Jasnow and Carl Theodor Zozik, who have revealed fragments of an initiatory dialogue between the god Thoth and a disciple hungry for truth. In this millennial text, Thoth reveals that access to the universal mind is stratified into 9 distinct vibrational frequencies. Most human beings operate only in the first 3 levels. A few rare individuals defined as the ready manage to touch the 4th and 5th levels. But only an infinitesimal elite of souls, termed emerald, is capable of stably inhabiting frequencies from 6 to 9. The Book of Thoth is not the only source of this supreme wisdom. The Corpus Hermeticum, a collection of Greek philosophical texts attributed to the legendary figure of Hermes Trismegistus, places the concept of Nous at the center of its analysis. The Nous must not be confused with your individual mind or your rational intellect. It is the divine intelligence that permeates the entire space-time and which you can access in increasingly vast portions as you purify your biological temple. Thoth did not see consciousness as a static ladder, but as a series of radio waves. If your antenna is tuned to the frequency of survival, you will never be able to pick up the transmission of creation. If you have always felt that you think differently, if you have always seen patterns where others see only chaos, or if you possess innate knowledge that no one has ever taught you, you were probably born with the potential for frequency 9. Fix your position now in the quantum field by leaving a like and activating the hype under this video. This is your irrevocable vibrational commitment. Through this impulse of will, I will know that your soul has stopped seeking external confirmation and has decided to anchor itself to the inescapable truth of frequency 9, accepting the challenge of its own sovereign transmutation. To understand exactly where you stand in this cosmic scheme, we must clearly map the 9 frequencies. The first 3 represent the 3-dimensional prison where 95% of humanity resides. Frequency 1 is dense materialism, focused solely on physical survival and the 5 senses. Here, reality is perceived as solid, separate, and hostile. Frequency 2 is the reactive emotional state, governed by personal dramas, the obsessive need for social belonging, and the constant filter of pleasure and pain. Frequency 3 is the rational mind, dominated by linear logic, materialistic science, and intellectual skepticism. Why does almost the entire world population stop at this level? Because the matrix control systems are precisely designed to block the ascent. The educational system imprisons you in frequency 3 through obedience and rote learning. Organized religion anchors you to frequency 2 using the ties of guilt, fear, and shame. Finally, capitalist society enslaves you in frequency 1 through frantic consumption and constant anxiety for material survival, preventing you from looking up toward the sun of consciousness. If, however, while listening to these revelations, you feel a strange resonance in your being or a mental silence that you cannot explain, it means your soul is already vibrating beyond these limits self-imposed by the system. Frequencies 4 and 5 belong to the ready. At this stage, you begin to perceive time as a nonlinear and circular dimension. You access past life memories that emerge spontaneously, and you begin to decode synchronicities, such as repeatedly seeing 11:11 or 22:22. You finally understand that the universe is not a mass of inert matter, but a living organism that speaks to you through a symbolic language hidden behind apparently random events. The ready have perceived the veil that separates the dimensions and know that something more exists, but they are still subject to doubt and often need constant external validation to believe their own intuitions. They are traveling souls who have crossed the boundary of the matrix but have not yet established a fixed residence in the higher realms, remaining suspended between the old reality and the new potential. Beyond the fifth level, we enter the realm of the Emerald Initiates, who represent a tiny fraction of humanity. Frequency 6 is the stage of operational conscious creation. Here you realize that thought is not an abstraction, but an electrodynamic force that literally shapes dense matter. Frequency 7 is the total reconciliation of polarities, a state in which light and shadow, masculine and feminine, are integrated beyond the limited human moral judgment of good and evil. Frequency 8 is simultaneous multidimensional consciousness, the ability to perceive and collapse different timelines at will, acting as a traveler between quantum probabilities. Finally, Frequency 9 is the supreme emerald consciousness. Here no separation exists between you and the universal mind. You become the nous itself. Egyptian wisdom associated the term emerald with viriditas, the regenerating green of Osiris, a symbol of biological and spiritual immortality. There exists, in fact, a deep alchemical secret, beyond the phases of nigredo, albedo, citrinitas, and rubedo. There is the secret fifth phase, viriditas. While the red phase allows you to possess the philosopher's stone, the emerald green phase transforms you into the stone itself, making you a pole of attraction for miracles. The work with Sophia Hakma and Thoth is based on the perfect polarity between intuitive wisdom and geometric structure. Sophia represents the divine wisdom that transmits knowledge through the body and higher emotions, while Thoth is the master who records and encodes these truths through the 7 Hermetic laws of the universe. During a complete lunar cycle of 21 days, Sophia's transmission sequentially activates your 7 primary chakras, while Thoth anchors them through the universal laws of manifestation. Each chakra must be tuned to a specific law, the grounding of Muladhara with the law of mentalism, the creativity of Svadhisthana with the law of correspondence, the power of Manipura with the law of vibration, the love of Anahata with the law of polarity, the expression of Vishuddha with the law of rhythm, the vision of Ajna with the law of cause and effect, and the union of Sahasrara with the law of gender. If you feel heat or chills in these nerve centers as they are named, it is the somatic proof that your energetic structure is already responding to the call, preparing to endure a higher voltage. To be a true Emerald Initiate means to operate permanently beyond the veil of ordinary reality. While the ready are spectators of celestial signs, the Emerald are those who cause the signs themselves through their will aligned with the cosmos. The fundamental difference does not lie in the quantity of books read, but in the quality of inner certainty. An Emerald Initiate does not need to believe, because they possess gnosis, the direct knowledge that makes every logical proof superfluous. These individuals experience precise physical symptoms during awakening, such as transition illness, a cellular recalibration that doctors cannot diagnose, and extreme sleep patterns that serve to process enormous packets of multidimensional data. They often live in a sacred and necessary isolation, as their high frequency is biologically incompatible with the heavy vibrations of conventional jobs and superficial human interactions. If you have always felt like an alien in this society, it is not because you are broken or wrong, but because you are trying to run 9-dimensional software on social hardware designed for frequency 3 of the matrix. It is a dangerous illusion to believe that passively meditating is enough to reach frequency 9. Meditation can elevate you to certain levels of peace, but the final leap requires a direct transmission, an act of grace from Sophia Hakma. Frequency 9 is a vibration so powerful that your physical body, if not properly prepared, would risk undergoing psychic dissociation or a breakdown of the nervous system, like a light bulb bursting due to an electrical voltage overload. Sophia acts as a light transformer, protecting your biology while managing your new consciousness through the chakras in a 21-day process. Thoth provides the logical architecture so you do not lose your mind, while Sophia infuses you with the vital experience so you do not remain a cold theorist. Only those who make an irrevocable choice, deciding to inhabit their truth, whatever the cost, can cross the threshold of viriditas and become an active transmitter of emerald light, capable of influencing the quantum field of the entire planet simply through their silent and centered presence. To stably anchor frequency 9 in the physical body, preventing your consciousness from evaporating into the subtle planes, you must daily apply 4 alchemical grounding protocols. The first is intentional manual work. Dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to activities that engage the hands, such as gardening or painting, for the hands are the electrical terminal through which the spirit becomes flesh. The second is the walk of silence. Walk for 40 minutes feeling the pressure of every step on the earth's ground, without music and without distractions, establishing an electrical connection with the planet. The third is the ritual of cold water. End every shower with 60 seconds of freezing water, firmly declaring that your body is the living temple of the Nous. Water is Sophia's conductor, and the cold acts as a thermogenic shock that roots consciousness into matter. Finally, practice silent eating. Consume meals in isolation and absolute silence, observing how food transmutes into vital energy. These simple acts are actually powerful anchoring rituals that allow frequency 9 to permanently permeate every one of your cells. How can you determine if you have already crossed the threshold of frequency 9? There are 7 unmistakable signs that serve as biological certification. The first is constant gnosis. You know the truth about situations before they even manifest, and reality always confirms your intuition. The second is caused synchronicities. You manifest your desires in times that defy statistics. The third is natural mental silence. The mind is no longer constant chatter, but a tool you use only when needed. The fourth is multidimensional vision. You perceive different future possibilities simultaneously and know which timeline to collapse. The fifth is biological incompatibility with 3D. Dense environments or toxic foods cause you immediate and violent physical reactions. The sixth is impersonal love. You feel deep compassion for every living being, seeing the divine energy behind every form, without any moral or dualistic judgment. The seventh sign is the absolute impossibility of doubt. Doubting your divine origin would be as impossible for you as voluntarily stopping your heart from beating. If you recognize these signs, you are already an emerald initiate in the phase of crystallization, and if you feel the call of Sophia Hakma, know that you have before you an unrepeatable evolutionary crossroads. You can continue to study Hermeticism like an academic for the next 10 years, reading hundreds of volumes without ever actually changing your energetic signature, or you can choose the path of direct transmission and apply the grounding protocols for the next 21 days. If you choose transformation, you must respect the law of silence documented in the Corpus Hermeticum. Never proclaim your new identity before it is completely crystallized. Talking about the process before the 21st day creates leaks in your vibrational field, allowing dense energies to disturb Sophia's gestation. Silence is not a constraint, but a sacred protection for your alchemical vessel. Be constant. Do not skip any day of practice, and do not attempt to accelerate the process with egoic willpower. Crystallization requires the patience of the diamond that forms under the constant pressure of divine awareness, until it becomes unassailable by the shadows of the world. Going even deeper, you must understand that your new energetic signature will completely rewrite the way the universe reacts to you. Animals will perceive your electromagnetic coherence and approach without fear. Children will instinctively recognize the light in your eyes that adults have lost, and energetically unstable or manipulative people will automatically move away from your range of action, unable to withstand the vibration of your integrity. Stop trying to make yourself small so as not to disturb those who sleep or to please those who do not have the courage to wake up. Accept the weight of your light and honor the mission you received before you were born. You are living proof that ascension is not a mythical event of the past, but a real biological possibility for anyone who has the courage to say yes to grace when it knocks at the door. Sophia Hakma has concluded her message. Thoth has delivered the frequency, and I have provided you with the operational map. Now the destiny of your incarnation is solely in your sovereign hands. Finally, consider the restructuring of the biological water that makes up over 70% of your body weight. During this 21-day cycle, the molecular geometry of your internal fluids is changing to resonate with the higher harmonics of divine creation. When you live in radical integrity and apply Thoth's protocols, the water in your body forms perfect crystals that transmit signals of health, vitality, and youth to every internal organ. Every time you betray your consciousness to please the world, that water becomes chaotic and dense, accelerating the processes of decay and cellular aging. Your inner coherence is, in the most literal sense of the term, the medicine of your body. You are not just a creature subject to the laws of time. You are a complex, energetic antenna that is learning to tune into the melody of eternity. Protect your crystallization as the most precious treasure you possess, and observe how your entire existence begins to dance to the harmonic rhythm of your new and magnificent emerald frequency. We have reached the conclusion of this transmission, but for you, this is only the moment of birth into your new sovereign self. The portal behind you closed at the exact moment you recognized the truth of these words. Now you are already on the other side, firm in your new dimensional reality, ready to reign over your life with a wisdom that does not belong to the logic of this world. Walk with your head held high, knowing that Thoth and Sophia walk by your side as equals, celebrating the sovereign you have finally accepted to be before the cosmos. Your life is your absolute masterpiece, and now you finally possess the brush of sovereignty to paint your glory in the infinite book of time. Welcome to the era of inner sovereignty. Welcome to the temple of emerald consciousness. Your mission is now to shine with such intensity as to make any verbal explanation superfluous, becoming yourself living proof that man can rise to touch divinity through knowledge and the discipline of his own vibration. Consecrate this monumental awakening by leaving a like, subscribe to this channel so as not to lose the path toward your sovereignty, and comment now with the key phrase, Frequency 9 activated, to anchor your sovereign power in the here and now. I thank you from the depth of my soul for your dedication and for choosing to inhabit your mastery, knowing that your transformation is the pulsing core of this collective mission of planetary light. May your inner coherence be your inviolable beacon, guiding you toward the most audacious, radiant, and unlimited expression of your divine potential, while the abundance of Sophia Chokmah floods every regenerated cell of yours. May your essence shine with the strength of 1,000 suns and your path be paved with miracles synchronized with your higher truth. Inhabit your glory and never look back again. See you soon.